Okay, welcome to the Exarban Foundation's Scholarships and Internships webinar or Nebraska Tech Collaborative. It's one of the two. We're representing all things today. I'm Shauna Dorsey with the Exarban Foundation, and today I'm here with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Ingram Beck. I'm a computer science teacher for Gretna Public Schools.
Excellent. And we have our special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Amanda Sweet. I'm the Tech Innovation Librarian over at the Nebraska Library Commission, and I get techie with it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're going to jump into questions. And I want to say this out loud because it's so great. But it's the first time ever, Amanda, that someone has sent us the questions that they want to be asked. It's like
Yes. You know, yeah.
never had that
You
happen.
are,
And we're good either way, but that was pretty fun. So thanks for that.
you are on it.
You're on it. You're on it. But Kimberly's going to kick us off.
Yeah. So let's start. What was the origin of the Tech Ready platform and kind of what was your process with getting that started?
So the origin of it was trying to help both communities, libraries, and state organizations try to navigate and understand what tech literacy meant, what digital literacy meant, and just this chaos of like buzzwords. So I decided to go through and say, what do our communities actually need? How can we build a framework for this? And how can I put a rhyme and a reason to what this all should look like?
That's
And
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
it kind of turned into a whole big thing, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, I would love to get into that first. So, what do you
Cool.
think about bringing up the platform, the site, and kind of just walking us through it, and then we'll come back to the questions because I think we'll be able to feed into that.
That I can do.
Okay,
Let me share my screen here. It'll just take a hot second.
good.
And do you see it up there?
Yep.
Cool. So on here, the main question I wanted to ask is what are the skills that we actually need to make Nebraska a place where people want to work, live, and play? And this is what people need to drive innovation across the state of Nebraska, what they need to get a good job, what they need to do all the different things. So I broke this down into subcategories. And some of these are the categories that people need just to live on a day-to-day basis. And some of them are what we need to be able to drive innovation, create new jobs, and build the tech that's going to make the world go round. So the framework that I generally used was what do people need to innovate in general? What do they need to be able to? So, first, I wanted to be able to say we need to be able to create the jobs that people actually need, the solutions that people actually need. So, we need the technology that drives entrepreneurship. Then we need the technology that drives innovation so we can rebuild and update the infrastructure and the organizations and in our lives overall so that we can kind of keep up with technology in general. And then we need to be able to attract people and get people ready for the jobs and everything that already exists. But then we also need the technology that's going to help people in day-to-day life and the technology that's going to help people get open up the app on their phone to be able to get to work on time. So we need the people that create the bus app so that people can actually get to where they need to go. Then we need the people that are going to be embedding that new technology into existing organizations and understanding and tracking what's going on. Then we need the people that are going to be saying, in order to sustain these innovations that actually exist, we need to be able to attract the people that are going to be the software engineers, the AI engineers, and doing all of this stuff and keeping that engine churning. But then, in order to support these engineers and support these and support everything, we need to actually build the communities that are affordable for people to live, have a bus line that they can get to work, and build that strong foundation. So that is what turned into the foundation of how can we build the infrastructure that helps people get there.
Mhm.
So with this baseline of information, this turned into just a giant mess of resources. But then these are the kind of the tutorials, the information, and all this stuff that people need. But now we need the people and the humans that individuals can go talk to be able to get help with this. And this is the support line of services. So we have the basic side, and then we have the AI side, because people at any level are being bombarded by both the basics and emerging technology. And it's just on a continuum right now. So I have the AI page right now open, but I've also got some for da, 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 all these different categories. So a huge buzzword right now is artificial intelligence. And right now, everyone's looking to build an AI literacy. But the power of AI actually happens when you combine it with the Internet of Things, data science, and robotics. So you can think about it as AI being a tool that's trying to replicate human senses. But then you have when AI is embedded into a robot, that gives the computer hands. And when you add sensors to that robot's able to replicate computer vision, which would be like what your eyes see. It'll add a pressure sensor, which would be like you pushing against the tabletop and being able to know when you hit the table and when you're pushing too hard. And it's just trying to replicate what humans do in human movement. Then when you add in the Internet of Things, you're able to control that robot from a long distance. You're able to turn on your smart bulb from your living room, and the bulb might be sitting in your office at work. So then you jump over into say, we need a software and an app development so that it's easier for an average person to be able to interact with this Internet of Things tool. Because if you just want to be able to open up your Alexa app and tap a button that says turn off bulb, you don't want to go write a whole line of code just to be able to turn it off. So you have the software that makes it easy. And then you have cybersecurity that's working in the background so that when you embed like a little security camera into a teddy bear, that teddy bear is only accessible to you and not to someone else who might be having prying eyes in the room. So people don't just need to know about AI, they need to know about how it all braids together with all this different stuff.
Great. So today are individuals able to visit this site and then access the resources and begin like learning?
Yes. So
Awesome.
you can go to this is the Tech Ready Nation website. So
Mhm.
I was asked to build this first here, but then other places in the country wanted to use something similar. So instead of I built just one site to rule them all because I was sick of updating both of them.
Mhm.
So the way that most people have been using this right now is I'll take the AI page because that's been the most popular set of resources. But when people ask me what AI literacy looked like, I broke it down into these separate categories. So people need to know what AI actually looks like beyond just what Gen AI looks like.
Mhm.
Most people are living here right now, and this means that you can type in a little text prompt into your computer, into Midjourney or something, and you can make an image of a cat wearing a top hat. And I love that. I use it all the time. But you also need to be able to know what else AI can actually do. So
Mhm.
these are the subsets of AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think this would be, as far as AI is concerned, it is the hottest topic around in every conversation I have
Yeah.
with every employer at this point in time. So, and we're a little bit off track here, but we'll get back onto the questions. But if an
Fair.
employer, Nebraska-based, let's focus on that. Nebraska-based employer was like, where do I go? I've got some staff and they just want to get more familiar or become more familiar beyond the basics, like you mentioned.
Yep.
Would you say come here and explore?
Yep. So I would recommend for The business uses, I would recommend going through the real world solutions. These are examples of how AI is being used specifically here in Nebraska. So when people actually go through and read these, it's easier than reading through a generic description. And you can also get more ideas about how you might want to use it, apply it, and innovate in new and creative ways.
Mhm.
And then there's also different ways for people of any age and experience level to be able to explore, experiment, and get hands-on with it using either free, low cost, or free tools.
Okay.
And then there are also support organizations that add access to the devices, technology, make sure you can connect to the internet and have all that basic infrastructure. And then make sure that we all don't die from AI. So pay attention to what ethics and impact looks like.
Mhm.
And the trend tracking is also helpful because there's a lot of slop about AI too. So
Yeah.
these are just some vetted resources that AI is not static. It's constantly changing and evolving. So what you learned 5 or 10 years ago is drastically different. So the rules that applied then don't apply now. So the people that once you get a basic introduction and understanding and you find someone who really wants to learn it and apply it, you also want to connect them to these sources so that they can keep up on it. Otherwise, what they just learned is going to be obsolete in soon.
Yeah. It's like we always used to say you have to be prepared to be a lifelong learner, and we really mean it.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, Kimberly, what questions do you have? I kind of am bouncing around here, but
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I was kind of thinking, like as coming from an educator, uh, we don't have really any professional development on how to use AI in the classroom, and our students are looking for us on, what can we do, because they're going to need to know how to use AI and work with it. And so I just really love all the resources that you have, Amanda, on just as a teacher of things I can go learn about myself so that I can make sure that I can better help my kids get ready for the future and whatnot. Um,
And
so
what
that's
I'm
not a question,
popping,
but
that's fair. That is fair. What I'm popping open now on my other screen is something that I have not added into my database yet because I just scraped it and piled it together. But I have a listing of courses that are across the major universities and organizations across the state that are offering AI courses, certificates, and training. And some of those are
awesome.
actually educator focused.
Awesome.
So
hey.
that'll be added in um, probably by the end of next week. But right now it's in
Nice.
spreadsheet land and it'll be in database land soon.
Actually, this kind of does fit with a question. How do you curate your resources? You have so many
Yeah.
good things here. Where do you find your information from?
So some of it is I go to conferences across the country and I will find resources there. Some of them most of the conferences I actually speak at too.
Mhm.
So I research it, compile it, talk to industry experts, talk to library experts, talk to education experts, and then curate it all so that the entries that are on here are actually vetted for. I use pricing, who funded the general project, access level, whether the resource is updated regularly, and if it's laid out in a user-friendly way. So those are like my 5 key points that I use to do like a basic evaluation.
Yeah, that's great. And so, when you're looking at resource gaps, what kind of resources do you look for? I think you mentioned like your criteria, but is there anything beyond that?
Yes.
Mhm.
So I'll pop open this that I just used at a recent conference. So when you think about anyone who's trying to navigate these systems. You have an entrepreneur that's trying to figure out they want to be an entrepreneur, or someone who's currently working at an organization trying to decide if AI is going to solve a problem that's in facing their organization right now, or you have someone who's trying to figure out which career they want and if AI is the right career for them and what exists there. Or you have people that are trying to figure out if AI is a potential tool that they could be using to um, address the affordable housing crisis or to figure out how the best bus route, insert problem here, there's stuff. So the baseline of this is that people are all trying to navigate through a general process. AI and IoT and VR, XR, all this stuff is new to a lot of people. So you have a layer of tools that people are using to gain initial exposure to that technology. So this is where our K-12 educators are coming in, our libraries are coming in. We have retirement communities that are doing this. They're all hosting different events to be able to show what this technology is all about. And then so I assess the types of organizations that are offering this initial exposure and who their target audience is and if there are gaps in that target audience. So right now there's a huge gap in there's more people that are focused on K through 12 land, but not enough people that are focused on the general population of adults. There's a lot of people that are focused on specific industries like manufacturing or AI in education, AI in libraries. There's professional development groups. Some of them are local, some of them are not. But there's not a lot that are just kind of targeting the general population outside of public libraries. So that's why I've been targeting more public libraries to do that. Then the next one is after people gain that initial exposure, they need to be able to bump up and say, I want to dig deeper into this so I can evaluate my options, experiment hands-on. And it's easier to do that with a software tool or an app that you can download for free or low cost on a phone. But it gets harder when you start digging into data science and AI and all these things that require specialized equipment. So I look at whether a community has access to a CNC router. Do they have access to the tools that they would need to custom train an AI model? Do they have tools that they would need to do data analysis of large data sets? What does that look like for each different community? Who are the support organizations? What does that look like? And can they go from initial exposure to referring them over to the right education and training resources so the people that are interested in AI and data science can get connected to the people that can help them go down the path they want to go? And then looking at the perspective and what's offered in those education and training sources, whether it's affordable, whether it's the program that's going to be covering what they actually need, and if they want to be able to do something local versus online, and what works best for the individual and what they want to do. And then do they have the support to, once they've learned what they want to do, can they actually get the career, get the job that they want? Can they use the technology to solve the problem? Can they create the new business? Can they do what they want to do? And then once it's already all in place, is there a place where they can continually update trends, get information, and update their own knowledge as technology grows and changes?
Mhm. Okay,
That's
and
really,
so, oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry. I was gonna say that's really awesome. It reminds me of the SAMR model. I don't know, the SAMR, where technology on the most basic level is just substituting old tech. So for example, instead
Oh,
of writing
yeah,
a paragraph, you type a paragraph. So technology is just being substituted.
yeah,
Whereas like the next model is augmenting and using technology to augment the learning that you would
yeah,
have been able and what you would have been able to do, and then modifying, and then the top level is redefinition, where you completely redefine like the
yeah.
concept you were learning and stuff. So anyways, this just reminded me of that. I like this a lot.
There's
Yeah.
always an adjacent framework. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I'm thinking too, with the platform, Tech Ready Nation, that each of these steps, it looks like, outside of maybe implementation, because you have examples of implementation or like
Yeah,
solutions, but outside of that one, folks can access each of these steps or like content to support each
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's not framed in exactly this way because I just built this framework probably about a month or two ago as I understood how people were trying to approach it and looking at it. It's actually built more in the hidden infrastructure side to be able to provide people access to like the smartphones, tablets, devices, the educational technology, and it's more rooted in this side right now, but I need to reorganize it so you can access all of the right information, but the UX needs some work right now.
No
It
worries.
looks great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really well done.
Well, thank you.
So I'm going to throw out something that's like not covered. We haven't talked about it at all. So forgive me. This is just part of dealing with me as a person. Uh,
Going rogue, I like it.
but just had a thought. Is there any value? And I think the answer is yes, but I'm just trying to determine like what level, what could it look like? But is there any value in us thinking about creating some sort of like AI hackathon of some sort, just to give people a way to say like, all right, I'm very curious about this idea. I want to leverage artificial intelligence to build it in a very short period of time, demo it, the whole process. But
Yeah,
could that be something where it's like, let's get people thinking about creative ways to leverage AI and then build
yeah.
something?
And so for the most part, that would actually overlap into another project that I do,
Mm-hmm.
which is there are hackathons that when people go to them, the successful ones, they usually already have kind of a background information or an idea of a problem that they are trying to solve.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order to increase the success rate, it's helping people understand and pinpoint what the problem is that actually needs to be solved.
Mm-hmm.
So, the answer is yes, but with the caveat that there's really heavily curated information about guiding people to solve the right problem instead of just coming up with something generically. Like
Right.
something
I
closer
agree.
to a jumpstart challenge that like
Mhm.
Scott or somebody has led than just having a free for all.
Agreed. I agree with that. All right. This could be a project for 2027. I'm already 26 is done. So if I could totally see 2027 something. There's something there.
I have stuff together for affordable housing, so that would be like an easy launching point.
And it's such a critical item.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
topic, I should say. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Kimberly. I'm good.
Um, Um, I guess I've noticed it seems when I'm looking for resources, people are just using ChatGPT to come up with resources, and so it's just kind of regurgitating the same information over and over again. Do you see things that are often duplicated like that? Like,
So I do. So the problem with ChatGPT, that was actually a question that I just got out of the conference not super long ago, which is, do we actually need to build curated resources like this anymore, or can we just ask ChatGPT? And the answer is, if you just go into ChatGPT blind and say, what do I need to know to be able to make my life better in terms of digital skills,
Mhm.
it spits out hot garbage. Like it doesn't have a mental framework for what that looks like. So part of the launching pad of that was to go through and build out what are the topics, categories, and um, in education, they actually have a whole separate framework for this. Like, what would basically be the essential baseline curriculum that anyone could possibly need to know about any of these topics? So I broke that down so that there would be a mental framework so people could actually know what's possible to ask. Otherwise, people's minds go blank. I tried it and it's both hilarious and horrifying.
Mhm.
And so this is the baseline where people can start. And when people find out what's possible, then they can find out what's relevant. And when they find out what's relevant, they invest the time and energy into actually learning the thing.
So if you were to click on that health data and privacy one, just so I can like get a better feel for what your, how this
Yeah.
work. Hmm.
So this is why I said that the UX needs some improvement
Hmm.
because the question was, can I click on this and go directly to the resources that are related? And right now, no, because the filter that's on the back end is not filtering and resetting in the right way. But
Hmm.
that is a technical problem. So the resources are easier to access right now directly from the hub.
Okay.
So if you go into apply filters, when you choose something in here, it will generate the subcategories.
Okay.
And then you can filter down further from what you actually want.
Okay. So on that first one where it's like internet safety for kids, if that takes you to a list of.
Yeah, that'll take you directly to the resource.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Good deal. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. Just like, hey, it's all here, just organized in a way that, like you said, makes it easier to say, okay, what's the
yeah.
next step I need to take?
And I am adding a GPT layer that will pull only from the curated resources.
Cool.
So when organizations or libraries or whoever ask me, can you help me design a workshop where I can teach the internet basic safety skills to teenagers?
Hmm.
Then I can go to GPT and I can write in the prompt that says, build a loose agenda for a 2 hour workshop that introduces internet safety skills that cover the basics from GCF Global, um, this specific resource from Google, and it'll pull directly from the database instead of spitting out hot garbage.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Less waste that way too.
Yeah.
Okay, so one more question for me and Kimberly out. Please close us out after this one, but where do you see the biggest challenges in this initiative?
So right now it's before people actually learn what some of these resources actually look like, their mind immediately jumps to, I need to go reinvent the wheel and just create this because it doesn't exist.
Hmm.
But it usually does exist. And so the biggest challenge is helping people to find out and assess what already exists out there, connect and leverage the resources that are there, and then work with partner organizations and collaborators to be able to co-create the resources that definitely actually do not yet exist. And then we can use our resources better. Because how many people actually know that so many of these activities and resources actually are a thing?
Hmm.
And I have a similar database for IoT and VR, AR. I just have people helping to build out some of the pages because there's only so much time I have on the planet.
Yeah.
Of course.
Uh,
Cool.
Yeah.
So that is kind of the long and the short of it. There's just a whole hot mess of stuff.
This is great though. Yeah,
Yes. Thank you
go
so much
ahead.
for sharing. It was just
Absolutely.
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there are any organizations out there that want to help kind of build out more of the resources for AI or for more refined career exploration resources, I do have a career exploration database that has links to career guides, descriptions, um, key I go through the process of how each technology type is made and then how existing jobs might be impacted and which new jobs are created. And then a day in the life link to a video or an article, and then the guide, and then some organizations, local or online, that will offer training. So if there are organizations, schools, universities who want to help refine, improve, or expand on that, that'd be awesome.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, the last kind of question I have is what would you like to see happen across the growing number of tech ecosystems in Nebraska?
I guess that they all know that the other ones exist and that they talk to each other, because that doesn't always seem to be exactly happening right now. And I think that there are people that would be more than willing to work together and kind of share resources, but there's a few different barriers to actually knowing what's going on across the entire ecosystem and then being able to find a good entry point because cold emailing and cold calling is the most annoying and difficult thing on the planet. So, yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I wondered too. We can have a conversation offline, but I'm just thinking there just might be a way for us to think about how to centralize things a little bit more because there is so much happening, so many
Yeah.
like even groups, nonprofits, so much happening.
And I did put together little boards like this that break into the major um, topic categories, the process and method that, like the process each system is trying to support, and
Mhm.
then the infrastructure that needs to be supported, and then some of the challenges and existing strengths and related organizations in each different little subset.
Yeah,
So that could be something that could be dug into later, but there's only so much time we have right now.
this is great.
Exactly.
So, what do you want
Yeah.
people to do next? And then that's the final question, I promise.
So the next thing will be me and my merry band of misfits. We're looking for a bunch of organizations that are willing to help out with building out a navigator training. So helping to build out more entry points into entrepreneurship, more entry points into workforce development, more entry points into tech career exploration. And so training librarians, training K through 12 educators, training community partners, training workforce dev, workforce development, and building out an online training curriculum and then embedding that curriculum into support organizations like your ecosystems, libraries, and whoever. So building, I have a baseline kind of model for what that would look like, but it's customizing it to the subset so people actually get the training that they need
Mhm.
instead of a generic thing that isn't going to be super helpful.
Okay.
And then the tech organizations, universities, schools, alternative tech training that want to help build out some of those pathways better.
Okay. Good deal. Well, we'll add that to the call to action and when we publish this. But
Sweet.
thanks for your expertise and sharing your time with us and just like your passion around this because that's it definitely takes that.
It's a
Yeah.
whole lot of stuff. You know,
You are awesome.
Yeah.
I try.
Great. Well, yeah, we appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but thanks again, Amanda. And
Yeah,
yeah, we'll chat
Thank
with you
you.
sounds like a plan.
soon.